Hello everyone, my name is Tristan and I'm with Tristom, and today we're going to talk to you about how to sell life insurance to Popeye. Now the conversation that we're going to have about life insurance with Popeye should not be the same conversation that we have with olive oil, which should not be the same conversation that you have with your clients. For each one of your clients, we must change the way in which we're talking about life insurance. But before we dive into life insurance, let's talk about how we would sell spinach to Popeye. Now, if you were going to sell a can of spinach to Popeye, how would you go about doing that? Would you dive into all the details about what spinach is and how it's 91% water, 4% carbs, 3%? No, you're not going to dive into this, right? Because you know that Popeye does not care. He does not care about all the fine little intricate pieces of spinach. So what? It doesn't make a difference to him. When we're talking about spinach, we need to think about how could spinach be sold properly to Popeye? We need to focus on what matters most to Popeye. And the conversation that we have with Popeye has to be different than the conversation we have with olive oil. We know that olive oil doesn't care about the bigger muscles. She doesn't care about protecting her family from Brutus. She doesn't care about any of that, right? We need to make sure that if we're selling a can of spinach, we have to focus on the benefits of that person that's sitting in front of us, right? So, question is, how would we sell spinach to Popeye? What are we going to focus on? Well, we're going to focus on how it's going to give him bigger muscles, how it's going to give him strength, and again, how it's going to protect his family from his arch nemesis Brutus. None of that is talking about how it's 91% water or it's 4% carbs or 3%. None of that matters to Popeye. What matters to Popeye is the value that he sees in that can of spinach. Now the conversation that we're going to have about a can of spinach with olive oil is going to be different. We're not going to talk about the bigger muscles. We're going to talk about how it's giving her a higher level of antioxidants for her skin. Maybe we're going to talk about how it's going to reduce the blood pressure, right? We're not going to focus on how it's giving her more strength. And we're going to focus on possibly how it's giving her shinier hair, not how it's protecting her family from Brutus. Now, in my experience of working with agents, what mostly happens when we're talking about life insurance, we talk about the same benefits for the different clients, does not matter who it is. And when we go through our spiel about the benefits and how great life insurance is, we then ask our client if they want to buy life insurance. And more times than not, our client says they need to think about it. But just them saying, I need to think about it, is a smoke screen. All it is an objection because you haven't showed them the true value in what life insurance can bring to them, right? The same thing as if I were to talk about spinach and bigger muscles to olive oil. She may just say, nah, I'm going to think about it, right? Change the conversation based upon the person. So now the question is, where do we go from here? How do we actually do this, right? Well, there's a two-step process that we can follow in order to make sure that we're providing the right benefits to our clientele. Step one goes like this. We want to start off saying something such as, imagine how the policy will be able to do blank. And then you fill in the blank. You want your client to experience what life insurance can do for that particular person, right? You want to make sure it's going to help that person. So if we are going to dive into some of the features or the riders or whatever it might be, make sure you always follow it up with a benefit. So for every feature that you say to your client, make sure you follow it up with a benefit. So if you get caught in saying the policy X rider, know that you have to follow it up with the benefit that that rider is going to give to that particular client. Once you make sure that you narrow down exactly what benefits that you want to talk about, you want to make sure you dive into step number two, which is you make sure that those benefits match that particular client, right? You might know that the benefit of spinach is bigger muscles and shinier hair, but you're not going to talk about those bigger muscles to olive oil, and you're definitely not going to talk about the shinier hair to Popeye. Same thing with life insurance, right? So follow this two-step process. Make sure your client understands by making them live that experience, and two, for every time that you talk about this, make sure that it's catering to that specific client, right? So when you are selling life insurance, you want to make sure that you're making sure that there's value in what you're going to provide. Because if your client is focused on the price and how price is a problem, the only reason why they're not purchasing is not because of the price. They're not purchasing it because they don't see the value. Price is only a problem in the absence of value. So how do you create value? How do you establish that value? You have to display the benefits to your client. So when you're talking about life insurance, to whether it is Popeye, or it is olive oil, or it is your client, make sure that you're catering and customizing those benefits to that person. Now, my name is Tristan Thomas and I'm with Tristom, and you can see our website where we focus on helping agents with whatever stage they are in their career at www.tristom.com. And we're also providing videos just like this on YouTube twice a month, so make sure that you're subscribing below. Again, thank you very much for your time and you have a wonderful day.